Hi, everyone. On today's episode, I had the privilege of speaking with Julie and special guest, baby Clara. After overcoming fertility challenges and health issues, Julie was ultimately able to carry and deliver her eldest daughter and son. However, Julie and her husband were faced with the reality that to grow their family further, surrogacy was going to be their choice. Julie reflects on her experience as an intended parent, the calmness she felt throughout the process after choosing to work with egg donor and surrogate solutions, the trust she had with her surrogate, and the importance of having a supportive community. You won't want to miss this heartwarming and inspiring story. Me, you, and who? Who knew it would take more than two people to have a baby? In a world where infertility is no longer a taboo topic, this podcast will take you through all of the different aspects of surrogacy and egg donation through the lens of many who walk this journey in different ways. My name is Whitney Hall, and I am a two-time surrogate, now turned surrogacy coordinator for Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, the very agency I used when I chose to carry for two amazing families. With this podcast, it is our goal to help guide and support you as you learn about what it takes to grow a family in an alternative way, as well as hear inspiring and beautiful stories of how this path has changed lives forever. We can't wait for you to hear about just one more way happy families are created every day. Julie and Clara. Hi, baby Clara. Oh my goodness. I am so glad you both are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Oh my gosh. Of course. I'm so excited to see sweet baby Clara and just all of the fun. But here she is. But let's go like way back. We want to talk about you and your story, Julie. And I'm just so excited that you're going to be sharing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, tell me you have three kiddos. Clara's not your own, but let's go to just you are about to grow your family. What does that look like? How did surrogacy even come to be?
We had two kiddos, and I was blessed to do that through IVF.
Yeah.
And I'd always had some health challenges. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I've had it since I don't know, it was 25 or 28. It's 2011.
Yeah.
Is when it started. And then I had severe food allergies with it. And so with all that, I kind of knew to expect there'd be challenges. And I knew from family history there'd be fertility challenges. So we did the IVF and everything was great. And we still had a couple embryos, and I wanted to get another baby so badly. I never thought I'd want more than two kids. But like if you told me that, years ago, I would have said, no, I just want two. I'm done. No, after two, I looked at Declan when he was one and I just weaned him or whatever. I was like, I'm not done.
Just not done. You just had that feeling.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, everything's good. And my doctor was like, I don't like things. And I was like, well, I'll work on, some stuff, try to get healthier. And I started having more and more problems with my stomach specifically. And it started getting really bad. And I've done all tests. I've gone to, at this point, 2 different doctors and 2 nutritionists. And, but back then I'm doing a little bit better now, but I'm still having lots of issues. But I was like, I kept going back to the doctor and she's like, you're not going to be able to grow a baby. It's not going to go well for you. There's going to be a lot of problems. I don't like this. I don't want you to have another baby. And I was like devastated. And so Troy and I spent probably a year talking about what to do. And I knew a friend, I knew 2 people, one that I went to high school with and one that I knew after college that had done surrogacy and were so happy. And I was like, oh, I think we should look into it. So we started to look into it, interviewed several agencies, and found the one that we really felt resonated with us. And really, really was what we needed. And it was a little bit scary at first. We were definitely very nervous and not sure what to expect.
Sure.
But seeing my friend, him and his wife, Dan and Amber, I was at their wedding years and years ago. Seeing their experience with their two babies via surrogacy was like very, very uplifting. I was like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
And, we took the leap and started signing up, started getting going. And we were really nervous when we got matched. And it was, it was great. It was perfect.
Yeah, it ended up just with all of the uncertainty, it ended up being so certain and perfect
Yeah.
and wonderful. But okay, to go back a little bit, how did you navigate like just your feelings and emotions of I've done this successfully. Yes, it was hard, but I have done it. And then this doctor over and over again saying to you, this just isn't the way that you're going to be able to grow your family. And then to switch and think, okay, I'm going to have someone else do this and navigating just being in that spot. How did you handle all of that?
It was tough. There was a lot of, questioning myself and questioning everything. And I'm such a control freak and always trying to be so healthy and this and that. And so there was a lot I had to kind of, um, you know, I say put in God's hands. And I was
Yeah.
like, I know, with I can say it kind of even goes back to my first one. So my first one, they said don't put an embryo in yet. The timing's not right. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. We've got it. We've got plenty. Put one in. And she took. And the doctor was shocked. He didn't think it would work. And I was like, well, it's fine. We've got several. We're okay. And she
Right.
worked. I just kind of knew I needed to. And I listened to my intuition as much as I can and question it as much as I can. But
Sure.
um, and then when she was about to be born, she started crashing in early labor. And
Mm.
they were like, well, is a C-section going to be okay? And I was like, yes, I'm here for the baby. I'm not here for a birth experience.
Yeah.
I'm here for
Yeah.
her. And so I was like, yeah, let's get her out. And then when she got out, she wouldn't eat. And they're like, is it going to be okay if we give
Mm-hmm.
her some formula? And I said, yeah, I'm here for the baby. Again, I'm not here for my experience. I'm here for a baby. And,
Yeah.
I know it's tough and it's a tough decision, but I just didn't question it. And later on, I was able to breastfeed her and it was fine. And yeah, we
Yeah.
supplemented some formula, but she was so healthy and perfect. I didn't really worry about it. I knew that my goal was was the baby and a healthy baby. And I just kind of always focused on that. So anytime like stuff came up or there were challenges, I was like, what's my goal? My goal is healthy baby, happy baby, which my kids, they were so amazing and they're so crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I have every piece of furniture in our house, in every room, anchored to the wall because of these two. Her sister and brother are nuts. And the stories I could tell you, like her brother, his skull picture is the back of his head. The
Oh my
teachers
gosh.
tried. They tried so hard. They did. And that year, he didn't like pictures. And
It was just that year. I've got one of those.
just that year. And I just knew in my heart, I was like, I need more of this. I love this so much. And my husband was like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, I can't grow a healthy baby. It's okay. I need to put it in the hands of somebody that can. I can
Yeah.
accept that there's people that are better at other things than I am. I did great the first two times, but things changed. And so
Yeah.
that was like, it was okay. And, I had people question, are you sure about, you can't control what she eats or what she does or this or that. And I was like, no, I can't. But I know that she will do a great job. I've seen she has babies that have done well before and had no problems. And so I was like, she can do better than I can. And the goal is healthy.
The healthy baby who is so healthy and precious. Yes. But you're
Yes.
right though, because I mean things do change. And at the end of the day, and it seems like you always had that of the goal is healthy baby. And it's just how we got there morphed and tweaked and now you had
Yeah.
this beautiful experience. So, okay, you mentioned you chose to work with an agency. You ended up working with Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, and you said that you had interviewed a few agencies and you found the one that gave you your needs. What does that mean?
We needed a lot of really clear communication and
Yeah.
a nice upfront plan. And it was very important to me to kind of look and see. I was able to see the results, the happy parents, but also the happy surrogates and the repeat
Yeah.
surrogates and the repeat parents. I was like, I want both sides to be very well taken care of. That was very important to me. You
Absolutely.
know, a lot of people are like, whoa, we'll go out of the country or whatever because it's cheaper. And I'm like, but how do you know how they're taken care of? Like
Mm.
are these surrogates well cared for? That's important to me. And
Yeah.
um, seeing that and it just felt right. And I saw also, having a friend that had been with you guys,
Yeah.
it made it even easier because I was like, okay, they're a repeat, their surrogates are repeats. And so I was like, this is okay, this is what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that. So you navigate that aspect, you get to the matching process. What was that like for you guys?
Oh, I was so nervous. I was panicking. Oh, is this the right decision? It should be. I don't know. I don't know.
What's
And,
happening? Oh my God.
oh gosh, there was a lot of panic at that point. And
Sure, sure.
um, because it's hard. At first you're picking off a profile, and
Sure.
then
Yeah.
when you meet them, you're like, oh, okay, this is good. This is
This is a real life person.
this is the right direction. And we were still kind of nervous, and it was great, and we got to know each other more and more through the process. But like, just the upfront matching, it felt really really quick, but it was good because it's like, well, the whole process isn't, it's
Whole
definitely
process
over
isn't
9
always
months.
quick. Yeah.
So at the time it felt quick. I was like, oh my gosh, are we doing this right? And then once we got going, I was like, yeah, we did the right thing.
Yay! How did you know it was right? How did you know that it was the right thing?
Oh gosh, well, we met our surrogate and she was amazing.
Yeah.
And we went through all the processes. Our doctors went through all the processes. There was, um, just all the boxes were checked. So the
Absolutely.
control in me really liked that,
We love to check a
and
box. Yes.
love it, love it. And then I could tell she was just so wonderful and kind and easygoing. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is great. And I was like, I just felt like she fit us. And we our level of communication was right for us.
Mm.
We had it pretty good because she was a mom of 5 and a
Yeah.
teacher, and I'm a working mom of 2. So we gave each other a little bit of space. It wasn't, but I know other surrogates, it's like you want to be in touch every day. So I think she kind of liked us already having kids because she knew I wasn't going to be checking in every minute, and give her
Well,
enough
there's that
space.
healthy respect of we're living life together, but we're also living our lives, and you can both meet each other where you're at and honor that. And that's beautiful that as part of that matching process, you could sort that out and knew that that was something that was important to you.
Well, and it was just, I really hadn't thought about it till we got there, and I was just like, okay. And then we texted when we needed to, and so her responses were excellent. And
Yeah.
it was really easy to talk to her when we needed
Yeah.
to, and in between, we all just kind of did our stuff, and I knew everything was great, and I was like, I just,
That
there was
trust
no
was there.
stress. No stress
Yeah.
at all. It's just like everything's great. We're just chugging along and getting to that point, and then a couple months before, I was like, I have to clean my house.
I have to clean
Became
my house.
So then I went a little bit nuts on that, and then like 2 weeks before, it felt like everything went real crazy because I was like, oh my gosh,
Oh
baby's
my gosh. Yes. No, you guys had some madness right before delivery day. Oh my gosh. What was it? It was like the house exploded, literally.
well, not
Like,
I mean, it's still intact. I mean, you're looking at it, but there was an explosion in the house. Evidently, there was a hole in the gas line,
oh my gosh.
And we had tried to run the fireplace, and there was a boom, and so I was calling people out, and I was like, oh my gosh. It was terrifying. Fortunately, I do keep plenty of detectors and stuff around. So we
Sure,
were checking
absolutely.
everything. And we got the guys out, and I was like, what happened? What happened? They're like, well, this line's very old. This is just normal. And I was like, okay. But
well, that's great, but I have a newborn coming home soon, so.
Oh, yeah. And then the kids were sick with something, and then we were exposed to strep throat, and we had some family with some health issues. And it was nonstop right before. Oh, and Declan had to have a whole bunch of crowns, a whole separate
That's
story.
right. He had to have his, yes. So there's all this stuff happening. And like your sweet, geez, I mean, it's, you guys had created just that bond throughout. She was like the yin to your yang as far as like easygoing. I know things are good. I mean, that must have just been so wonderful to just, I don't have to, for lack of a better word, worry about that piece.
No, it was true. And I told people I would be like, oh my gosh, we need to get this and this and this and this. And they'd be like, it's going to be okay. And I was like, the baby's fine. The baby is great. We are going to get all this fixed. And then the baby's going to be here.
Yes.
Like, she's doing good. She's somewhere calm and normal while I'm having all this insanity. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, well, at least I'm getting it all out of the way before she gets here.
Yes. That's perfect. It's perfect.
Can't beat that.
No, for sure. I love that. So what would you say, how do you, I mean, obviously you both, had navigated or had, like, you guys had your perfect relationship for each other. How did you grow that relationship just throughout this process?
We would talk at all of the, we really spent the most time together at the appointments. I was lucky. Yeah. We picked somebody close. So she was about 2 hours away, I think.
Yeah.
And so I would go to the appointments. There was a few I missed, but I got to go to a lot of them. Yeah. And my husband got to go to a few. And so we would spend time chatting at the appointments and getting to know each other. And there was one where we brought the two kids to get to meet her and to get to see the baby on the screen. And they're 4 and 6. So like the 6-year-old kind of knew what was going on. The 4-year-old, I'm not sure he cared what was going on.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. He's like, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah. And it was good. But they got to meet her and talk about all that. And so that was really wonderful. And it was she's so easy to talk to. She was so great. Yeah. Just every appointment was great. Every communication was easy. And like, if we sent a question or whatever, and once or twice she couldn't get back to like the next day, I didn't worry about it. I was like, if it was urgent, she would contact me.
Right.
I said, probably something going on. Teacher plus 5 kids. I mean, you don't get any busier than that. So I was like, I didn't worry. I was just like, we'll hear from her tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we always did. And it was just, she made me feel so relaxed.
I love that. And as a, self-proclaimed control freak to, being able to just give over that trust to something so big and beautiful, that's huge. And that's amazing. And I mean, and it made the journey just so wonderful.
Yeah. It made it so wonderful. I knew it was right. I just knew it. And the whole time I was like, this was the right thing to do. I'm going to keep working on getting my health improved and, to where I can function and take care of her. And so it was the right thing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you navigate kind of your family knowing about this process? Obviously, having you go through, you had your own pregnancies and then you decided to do this. How did you navigate friends and family and, talking about this and, just all of that?
When we kind of got started, we said we were looking and they were like, oh my gosh, are you sure what you're doing? And
yeah.
There's a lot of questions.
Sure.
Some that I was like, no, that's not how science works.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Is she going to get any of the surrogate's DNA? No, that's not how it works. But, So I would answer the questions, and they'd be like, okay, and I could tell everybody else was really really nervous, and I was like, I know what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
I just kept going forward, and then once we kind of got in there and she got implanted and everything, everybody else kind of started to feel more calm, and you could tell it was like, okay, this is happening, this is great.
Yeah.
And then I think when we got a little over halfway there, we got the book about the kangaroo pouch for the kids
Yes. Yes.
and told them about it, and they were excited that they were getting a sibling, and their responses were hilarious. Like, Thea was so excited that she's just my sweetheart, and
Yeah.
she's 6, so it was, she was
She
ready to
kind of
help
had
out.
that understanding. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now Declan, he was like, so where's my brother? I said,
Oh,
well, it's not your
sorry, buddy.
school. And he goes, let's name her Fire Truck. No.
Fire truck.
Yeah. So, but he was still excited, but he just kind of is all over the place. So I was just like, that's a good response for him. He's good.
Yeah.
And
No, that was good.
kind of explained it to them. And because they had kids in their class that their moms were pregnant at the time.
Sure.
So trying to explain to them that somebody else is growing our baby for us, that was important to make sure that they felt comfortable with it. And I think they were good.
Yeah.
And, they when they got to meet her, that was wonderful. And
Yeah.
then of course meet the baby. That was
There she is.
that was their most exciting moment. And
That was the big thing for sure. So, okay, yeah, let's talk about delivery day. You had a whirlwind of crazy, and then delivery day comes.
yeah,
How are you feeling? What did that look like?
it was great. So generally I'm an overpacker,
Love it.
with the exception of going to the hospital.
Stop.
No, I'm like, they have everything there. I don't need anything.
I don't need anything. It's fine. Yeah.
So I with the and Declan, I brought their take home outfits and some of those trampoline park socks that are non,
Yeah.
sticky on the bottom,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and then what I was going to wear home, and that's it. I didn't bring anything else. I was like, well, my toothbrush,
Well,
but
yeah.
I mean, I didn't bring extra clothes. I didn't bring extra anything. I just was like, nah, we're good. And the house is closed. I was like, I'll send Troy to get whatever we need, and he was like, yeah. So, and she was only 2 hours away, and I had people asking, oh, have you packed your bags yet? And I was like, no, it's Oklahoma in March. I don't know if it's going to be 78 degrees or 38 degrees.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I don't know what to pack, and there could be a tornado anytime. So I was like, again, only 2 hours away. So that made my life a lot easier. And that was something that Troy was a big advocate for, and I was closer. So I was really glad he thought of that. And so when it got to be like the weekend of, I was like, I think it was the day before I packed. Because I was like, hospital has everything the baby needs there. I just have to have stuff for me, which I was like, well, Troy's going to come home and see about the kids because we didn't want them to be stressed out overnight.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you can bring me stuff if I need it, if she comes early or something. So I wasn't worried. And I finally calmed down at that point. And so then, the night before I did pack, and it was exactly what I needed. And I don't think I had him bring me anything except some like food and snacks because I stayed with the baby.
Right.
So we were there a very short time period. This hospital was efficient. I think we were there for like literally one night. We started at 6 in the morning one day and then left at 6 p.m. the next.
I love it.
So,
Yeah.
And the baby was doing so well that they were like, okay, you can go.
That's fantastic. That's the dream.
Oh, yeah. And, so I had her take home outfit, lots of pictures.
Of course. Of
And
course.
just we were good. It was going to the hospital was easy. I drove up first. It was the surrogate, Reba and I, we both got there at like 6 in the morning, and our husbands both took our kids to school.
Love it.
And then they showed up later, and poor Troy, he went to the wrong hospital.
Oh no, poor Troy.
Yeah, in the wrong city. But
Troy! Oh no!
He was like, "Can I tell me which hospital?" And I said, "This is the hospital." I don't know. So because she'd been going to some monitoring in a different city and some
Sure.
in her hometown. And bless his heart, yeah, he's an engineer, and if you don't have the instructions written out somewhere with reminders, it's just not happening.
You know what?
So
If that's the only hiccup, we'll take it, right?
yeah, it was hilarious, and he made it, and everything was great. And her family came, and we made sure that she got time with them, and
Yeah.
because you can only have so many people in the room and all. And when she got the epidural, we had her husband be in there with her, and because we'd agreed on stuff. I wanted to make sure she was comfortable. If there was a C-section, I wanted her husband to be in there with her.
Yeah.
I'm also a fainter,
So
so
that was a good choice for y'all. Yeah.
everybody all around much better if I was outside the door. But she didn't end up having to have one. And it was funny at birth. They said, "Are you ready to go?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "What's wrong? Why aren't you excited?" And I was like, "I'm a fainter." And they're like, "Oh gosh." So they had me like way up by her shoulder and made sure I did not see too much.
Perfect.
Because
Perfect.
I can't help it. I can't. And I was like, well, you know, I know my limits. And I got to see baby the minute she was pulled out, so that
That's
was great.
perfect.
And
Yes.
I was trying to make sure the surrogate was comfortable at the hospital. Do you need any water? Do you need ice? No, I'm good. She's so
Yeah.
easygoing. And then they came in and said, are you going to do an epidural? And she looked at me and she's like, is that all right? And I was like, yes, you don't need to suffer. You just get all the painkillers you need to for this. Let's just
Perfect.
make this easier. I'm sure baby will be happy too, because I'm, getting squished doesn't sound fun. And I was like, I wouldn't want her to have to do anything I wouldn't do. And I was, of course I had a C-section, but
Right. But going back to that, we're here for the baby. We're here for happy, healthy baby, and happy, healthy baby is not
yeah.
delivering person suffering if she wants to have the epidural. So that's great, and just the easygoing
No.
aspect of it.
I wanted her to be happy and comfortable. And at one point they said, "Oh, she's had too much epidural and she can't push." So then they turned Reba's epidural down, and so then she was pushing better. But then after a little bit, I was like, "Oh, it sounds like she's hurting." And so I started asking nurse. I was like, "Can we turn it back up? I think it's down enough. Can we please turn it back?" And so they're like, "Okay," because I knew, okay, even if she got through the last few pushes, there's still more after that.
Right? Yes. Yes.
I was like, she needs it for that too.
Aww.
So I was like trying to make sure I could anything I could do, which I wish I could have done more because she was just amazing. And oh, and it was hilarious. Baby came out, cord wrapped around her neck 3 times. You should see the doctor. But the thing, it was like a 3-foot cord or something. It was crazy long.
Oh my goodness.
And her color was great. And they had her push really quickly at the end. And so there was like not a big deal. And
yeah.
I read that because my mom was all freaking out. It was wrapped around. I said, yeah, but she looked fine. So
right.
There's nothing wrong.
Well, and you guys were released the day after. Like, I think we're fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's good. And but I looked it up, and evidently that's like 20% or some crazy high number. It happens. It just doesn't always tighten up, and it's not always a problem. It's very rarely a problem, and they know what to do and how to handle. I'm like, that's why you go to the hospital. That's why there's doctors. And, if you think that there's a high risk, then you've got it covered. I have a cousin that she did hers at like birthing centers, but she wasn't high risk and didn't have any problems. So it's like, you know what you need.
You figure it out. Yeah, you do what works best for you. How was that feeling as you're trying not to faint, and all of a sudden, sweet Clara is born, and you see her for that first time? What was after you've been fussing on, do you have enough ice chips and asking about the epidural, and then all of a sudden she's here?
Oh, I was so excited. I was tearing up, and I was just, I couldn't believe it. Troy and I were so excited to see her and to touch her and to hold her, and we had brought her back. I opted to do skin to skin without washing her because it's better for her to wait to bathe for baths.
So yeah, come on, let's do that skin to skin. Let me hold her.
So I couldn't wait, and it was just magical, and I just was in love, and she just was so happy to be somewhere cozy, even though birth wasn't fun. Birth is not fun for the babies.
It's a big whirlwind for them for sure. And then she
It
just
is.
went
Lot of
from one
changes.
cozy place to the next cozy place.
So you get in a nice cozy place, and so then we got her all cozy, got her skin to skin for a while, got her fed, so she was very happy, and she liked being swaddled, so we swaddled her up and just kind of went back and forth like that. And
And
she was great.
you're just staring at her.
Oh gosh, I couldn't take my eyes off her,
Yeah.
and I took a million pictures, and yeah, yeah, we just were in love. We were completely in love.
Oh, I believe it. So, looking back on just the journey as a whole, now that you're holding that sweet, squishy angel girl and you're just looking back on the whole thing, what would you say were maybe your biggest surprise as an intended parent? And what was something maybe that you struggled with that maybe is resolved?
Um, I think my biggest surprise was how calm I was through the process.
Mm,
Like once she was like implanted and everything, I was like, she's gonna be fine, and I
yeah.
didn't worry about it anymore. And I was worried that I would be fretting over it and fretting over, what's the surrogate doing, what's she eating, what's going on, and
Sure.
I I didn't. I didn't anymore. I was like, she knows what she's doing, and this baby's gonna be healthier than I could have done. And that's what I
Mm,
told people. I was like, I couldn't do that. So, you
yeah.
know, finding somebody that can is just so special. And so to kind of let that go and let that stress go,
Mm.
it was shocking. I would that surprised the heck out of me because I am a very high strung person. And I was like, this is great. And I had some people like, well, what if she's eating a lot of sugar or something? And I was like, though, she's a really calm person. This baby's not getting very much cortisol. That totally makes up for that. And so I was like, I just totally relaxed. I was definitely panicked in the beginning, and then I just knew it was good.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. What was something that was a struggle or for you, and maybe from that struggle, advice that you would give to future intended parents or gestational carriers from the perspective of an intended parent?
Um, I think well, there was a couple things because it was trying to decide if surrogacy was right for my husband and I.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time talking through it and, you know, talking to other people. I did, that made a big difference because I also had another friend I almost forgot here locally that used a surrogate.
Yeah.
And, we talked to them and just having that chance for me to talk questions and just different stuff that made a huge difference. It made it seem like even knowing I knew people and stuff like that, it made it a lot less scary, a lot more like, oh, this is this is great. And he was
Yeah.
telling me about his journey and what they did, and everyone's different, and um, his surrogates and stuff, and so it just that made a huge difference. I recommend that if
Mm.
you can talk to somebody at all one on one that's done it,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big game changer right there.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I definitely felt a lot more comfortable. Like I knew I was headed that direction. I think I still would have done it, but that made a huge difference. And then
Sure.
um, the other thing was I was panicking when it came to choosing a surrogate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, are these the right fit for us? I don't know. And I think it's important to try to trust the process, and that's a hard thing to say, and it's a hard thing to do. And I consulted my sister for one. I said, "What do you think, Troy and I really like this surrogate. What do you think?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, I like this and this and this. I think she's a good option." And so having somebody else kind of be like, "Yeah, I think you're doing the right thing," that kind of makes you feel good too. And
Sure. Just that
so that
community.
yeah, that made a difference. So I did that because you want someone that's going to be supportive and that's going to make you, like, yeah, this is good. You're good, and because then, when we did meet her, I was like, oh yeah, this was right. So, because it is you're picking somebody on paper at first, They've picked you on
Sure.
paper. You're picking them on paper. That part was terrifying. And then
Yeah.
she was perfect. The Reba was amazing.
Yes. Oh, she was and she is. And oh my goodness. And then here we are with sweet Clara.
I have to admit, I didn't expect to be there. Everyone's like, oh, you're gonna be friends and stuff like that. And she and I still keep in touch a little bit. But you know what? She's always gonna be in my heart forever.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
anticipate that as much, and so I was just like, oh, she's amazing.
I love that. And now you have sweet little Clara. There she
Mhm.
is. Looking so precious and wonderful. Oh my goodness. Well, okay, my final question to you, Julie. For anyone who knows me, they know that I have a very codependent relationship on coffee. Now, I did switch it up today and I'm drinking tea. So, but all of that to say, I love to ask, what filled your cup today? What was the thing that just brought you joy?
Oh, I don't even
Literally or
know
figuratively?
everything. It was wonderful to talk about the whole process, to get to answer
Yeah.
questions about, the stuff I don't think about is like, what got me here, what motivated me, and like what our challenges were, and talking about Reba and how calming that was. I was like, baby's
Yeah.
safe, baby's happy, it's gonna be great, and everything was going crazy, and just getting to talk about getting to have her birth experience, just all of
Hmm.
it, just all
Just
of it.
all of it. Yes. No, it's beautiful to reflect on it because life doesn't stop. You all of a sudden have this newborn and you've got two kids with anchored furniture and you don't always get time to reflect on everything that's happened. But here you guys are, a sweet family of five.
And we just couldn't be happier. She's just been the best, sweetest little baby, Clara Scarlett.
Clara Scarlett, sweet angel girl. Well, Julie, I'm so grateful to you for, just giving some of your precious time so that we can talk about Clara's sweet story and just your journey to get here and throughout. And I am just so grateful that you were able to be vulnerable and share. And I know that I'm just so happy for you and your family. This is just so wonderful.
Thank you. It's wonderful to share, and I do try to tell anybody that asks me, any questions about this
Yeah,
process, because I think that makes it seem less intimidating. That
absolutely.
to get to talk about it, and you know, it just it was perfect. We knew, and then when she was here, we were like, "Yep, this is
Yeah,
exactly what we needed," and
absolutely.
she's perfect,
Absolutely.
and she's been the sweetest little baby. We're way too
Mm.
blessed.
No, don't ever say that. She's perfect. Yes, she's
um,
everything you needed. Hi, Angel. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Julie, so much. Thanks for being here, Clara.
she just chill. She's just a chill baby all
She's
day.
just
It's
a
so
chill
great.
baby. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Me, You, and Who. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed our discussion today. As we wrap, we would like to remind you of some of the ways that you can stay connected with us and be part of the Me, You, and Who podcast community. Firstly, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode and can stay up to date with our latest content. But that's not all. We also have an exciting YouTube channel where we share some bonus content, behind the scenes glimpses, and video versions of our episodes. Head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button there as well. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when the new episodes go live. And for more exclusive updates, engaging discussions, and a chance to connect with fellow listeners. Be sure to follow us on our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Create a Happy Family. If you're interested in finding out more about creating a happy family, please visit us at www.createahappyfamily.com. Thank you again for being part of the Me, You, and Who community. Your support means the world to us. I can't wait for you to join us next time as we continue to share stories and journeys of creating happy families.